Okay, for this video, you're going to need to pause it every 30 seconds because I'm going to give you a question. It's going to be like a mini whiteboard activity, except it's not in the classroom. So there'll be a quadratic graph on the screen like you can see now. I'm going to say pause. That's when you pause the video. You then do the question. You can probably do most of these questions in your head, but you can write them down if you want to. And that way you can really check how much you understand this topic. So when I say pause, you pause it, get an answer in your head, and then play the video and see if you're correct. So question one, I'll kind of do with you. You can see this is a graph of y equals f of x plus 4. F of x, and then you're translating it to f of x plus 4. So it's outside of the brackets, which means it goes up by 4 units. So your answer, you can see the coordinates, the y value will go up by 4, so you end up with 5, 6. Okay, from now on, I'm just going to say pause and I'll go through the answer. So here's question 2, have a go, pause. Okay, so you can see you're subtracting 2 from the y values, so that's going to go down and your answer is 4, 4. Question 3, pause. Okay, so now we're positive 3 in brackets. So the x value, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to take away 3 from the x value. So that 5, you're going to take away 3. You end up with 2, 4. The y value stays the same. Next question, pause. Okay, so in this case, you're subtracting 3 from x in the brackets, but that you're doing the opposite. So you're going to add 3 to x here. So that will become 7, and the 5 stays the same. Next question, pause. Okay, so there's a -1 outside the bracket. That just means you're multiplying the y value by -1. So that 3 will become -3, and then the 2 will stay as it is, and the 7 will also become -7. So that's the graph you should get. Okay, next question, pause. So in this case, the negative is inside the brackets. Multiplying by -1 is actually the same as dividing by -1. So it's actually going to be a reflection around the y-axis. So there's the y-axis. So that point is reflected there. So it becomes -4 and the y stays the same. Okay, pause here. Okay, so inside the brackets, you're subtracting 6. So that means you add 6 to the x value and you end up with 4, 1. Next question, pause here. Okay, take away 10. You can see you're going to take away 10 from that. So you end up moving the graph down. So it's 3, -6. Question 9, pause here. Okay, -1 in the brackets. So we're reflecting on the y-axis. So we're going to get like a shape that looks like a hill on the right-hand side. And you can see that should be +3. That's not negative. It should be positive. I'll just fix that. Okay, next question. Pause here. Okay, +5. So you're moving up by 5. So it's going to be -1, 2. And then let's try this one here. Negative f of x, pause here. Okay, so this time you are reflecting on the x-axis because all the y values have changed sign. So the y values down here go up there, which is a reflection on the x-axis. So your reflection will have a minimum point of 0, 2. That was the maximum point of the original f of x. Okay, pause here. F of x -3, so that means you're going to move the graph down by 3, so that becomes -6. And then we'll do just a couple more. So y equals f of x -2, so this is f of x. Pause here. And you should add 2 to the x value, so that becomes 0, -5. And the last one here, so we've got a negative x inside the bracket, pause here. Okay, so the x values are multiplied by -1, so that 2 will be reflected there. So that 2 becomes -2. That -4 becomes +4. That 8, so the x value is 0, so that stays as 0. The 8 stays as it is. So then you end up with another graph that should look something like that, which I've just sketched out, but if I were to draw it a bit more accurately, you can see that's what you should get. Okay, so that's like a quick mini whiteboard activity. You should get the transformations. A few key points: they do not have to be quadratic graphs. They can be any squiggly graphs like you've seen in the other slides. And you can also stretch the graphs out. That will be in another part of the lesson. So that's when you shrink and stretch the shape.